park your car here, sir. That's my car. Oh, that was smooth, Bumblebee.
Hi, I'm Nat. He's Matt. We've got your geek news right here.
Now, we're talking about Transformers. Now, Michael Bay has kind of screwed this up one way or another twice now, but this is the third time, and a lot of people are saying third time's the charm. I don't know.
Why would you ever assume that? We're talking about Hollywood show business here, people.
I know, but you know what? Starting up a Transformers movie with Peter Cullen's voice lulls me into this false sense of security every single time, but then I was snapped out of it by the worst CG John F. Kennedy I can possibly imagine. Ugh.
Honestly, the Kennedy thing, I didn't even notice, truthfully, being that bad, but Nixon was pretty decent, I thought.
Well, that was tastefully done. That was a double in the background with the foreground, the actual stock footage. That was great. I enjoyed that a lot. And I enjoyed this whole idea of an alien-inspired space race that we never knew about.
Absolutely.
But then all of a sudden, it became Michael Bay, because I was staring at a woman's ass. And he just loves the female ass. And this time it turns out not just Megan Fox. He would like any well-shaped
really
ass
nice
on
female
screen.
Ass, but
Turns
considering he's done the Victoria's Secret thing before, I don't think that's a surprise.
Not in the least. But I did like Megan Fox's replacement, Rosie. She came across as like smarter, stronger, and a better fit for this movie, even if the character rewrite was so last minute that all of Fox's characteristics were still there, right down to the fact that she had Michaela's dream job and Michaela's dog.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I don't know, I thought the new replacement was good. I think Megan Fox is very hot. This woman was also very hot. I thought they made her speak too much, personally. I know that's such a horrible, non-feminist thing to say, but she was just a hot girl. It's explosions, hot cars, and hot women, so...
Well,
I
like the fact that her name was Carly, because that's the name of Spike's wife in the cartoon. So that was tasteful.
Well, that's good.
And I loved how they met. The way they met
was really
so
funny.
fun.
The flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really well done, and Shia LaBeouf, as always, was ridiculously hilarious, including that entire scene. So, yeah, I mean, that was really good. I love how excited he was about Obama. The award that he randomly won, hilarious. And I actually just love the character development of how he's this guy, fresh out of school, he's saved the world, and is now trying to look for a regular job and having an issue with it. I thought that was really cool, and you could really feel for his character.
Shia really is fantastic as Spike, or Sam. But we had some interesting people come back for this film, which is great. We had John Turturro back, we had Duhamel and some new faces, like Francis and Dempsey. But my personal favorite was Firefly's Alan Tudyk as Dutch.
As Dutch? Yeah. Oh,
so
Dutch
good.
was brilliant. He was so funny. He's such a dynamic actor. And the scene in the Russian bar, hands down, my favorite. I peed myself laughing. He was so funny in it.
I am so sorry. That was the old me.
Other cameos, there were such good cameos. I mean, we had John Malkovich as well, who played an eccentric weirdo, and like the way that he speaks always gets to me because he speaks with this really quiet tone. Yeah. But he's brilliant and crazy, and you never know what to expect from him. And then obviously the Asian guy. Oh, yes! His name always escapes me. Deep Wang is the name of the movie.
Oh man, that was. And this movie was entertaining. I can give it that. It was definitely entertaining. But as usual, the humans were overimportant, like in every Transformer film. The idea that meatbags like us can bring down a Decepticon, it was ridiculous the first two times, and it is no less ridiculous now. And I've got to say, training, firepower, whatever. Sam versus Starscream. That fight was an insult. I could not believe what I was watching.
I couldn't believe it. Starscream, first of all, had such a minimal role in this movie. And then the one scene where it was all about him, he goes down.
Oh my god.
It was insane. It was pretty brutal.
Now, we saw new and old Transformers in this movie. Megatron back on top as the bad guy, with a plan that was so good, it makes you wonder why he did anything other than this plan in the first movie, or the second movie. But at least he looked cool as that African truck thing, that canvas cover over his head. At first, I was on guard because I was thinking,
I thought
that's
it was
stupid,
ridiculous.
that's stupid. I was pointing out things that were stupid, but then I remembered that damage that he got to his head, and I thought that was kind of a neat piece of production design. But I guess I'm used to him not being a giant gun. I don't know. But on the top of the giant guns, Shockwave, the most eloquent and brilliant Decepticon, was introduced as some kind of robot sandworm that can't speak. What the hell? That was just lame. Ultra lame.
Well, I mean, like, he was, like, the predator of the Decepticons. I will say, though, he was terrifying. I think he was the most terrifying Decepticon there was. Like,
Which is weird.
havoc he is able to... Oh, it's unbelievable. I was really impressed, I guess, from the visual standpoint of what he does. But you're right. In terms of continuity, if he's supposed to be a brilliant, well-spoken Decepticon, which, by the way, doesn't seem to exist in this movie or in this movie's universe, it's kind of sad that that's what he's reduced to.
And the weird thing is, Laserbeak can speak. He couldn't speak in the original. He just goes, rah, rah. But I've got to say, he was an asshole in the cartoon, and he was an even bigger asshole in the movie. I really enjoyed that.
And speaking, are we a little disappointed again that Soundwave still sounds lame?
Ah, he still sounds like Dr. Claw. Like, seriously.
Can they never make him better?
If you're not going to put a vocoder on his voice, I don't care if you brought the same actor back. Because he just sounds like Dr. Claw. And he came back as Yawn, a Mercedes.
He would have sounded better with the auto-tune on his voice. Seriously?
Anything.
Like, come on.
Now, I did like some of the new Autobots.
And in terms of the voices, again, I will say, I don't know if some of you guys may have liked this, I did not like that they had, like, every accent imaginable on the Autobots at all. I thought it was cheesy. Why was there, like, a Hispanic guy, an Irish guy, an Asian accent? Like,
I really don't get that either, especially why a Ferrari had an Asian accent. That was a little weird. But, you know, I did like some of the new ones we got in this movie. We got to see Sideswipe, got to break up the General Motors commercial a bit as a Lamborghini. Maybe Bay was trying to apologize for making Jazz a Pontiac in the first one and then ripping him in half. But Q and Dino were just lame. Why wasn't that Wheeljack and Mirage? That just... If you're going to do a Transformers movie, you don't need to make them up. We have them in canon. The records were neat. They were a bunch of NASCARs, even if they did sound silly.
Yeah, I don't think Bay or any of the writers are doing anything related to what fans necessarily want or canon. Because some of the things you're like, oh, maybe he did this to forgive that mistake he made before. But no, he's totally tearing apart every other piece of canon in anything for the fans. I'm just saying.
But plot-wise, we got to see one of my favorite stories from the cartoon come to life.
Okay.
And, just like you were saying, Nat, the origin of the Transformers on Earth were completely mocked. So it was a total mixed bag. Spoiler alert, here comes the plot.
Okay.
I loved in the series, I loved the Space Bridge storyline, bringing Cybertron to Earth to enslave mankind as a worker race. The Megatron at his best in that Ultimate Doom storyline.
Okay.
And it was really cool to see that happen here. We got to have Sentinel Prime, which was fun. He looked a little silly. I think, Nat, you will agree.
Yeah, it was killing me.
Transformers, mustaches.
The robots looked too anthropomorphic. Why did he have an old man mustache?
Yeah,
do robots need mustaches for any reason?
Now, I did like using Sentinel Prime as a catalyst to make everything happen. I love the Spock moments for Star Trek fans. Those were great. Tying the Transformer technology into the Chernobyl disaster, awesome. The space race, all of that, very elegant.
Very elegant.
But, you know, I've got one big complaint. After ignoring the source material...
Only one, Matt?
After ignoring the source material and establishing in the first movie that Transformers travel through space without the need of vehicles and crash land on planets as meteors, I was completely insulted that they put Sentinel Prime in a ship and called it the Ark. I was even more insulted when they hopped into the Xanthium, the ship that the Wreckers actually have in canon, I know. But to visit the Ark on the moon, to say nothing of the one-man airships the Decepticons hop into when they're in Chicago on patrol, that are not Transformers.
Exactly.
If you're getting onto a ship
kind of odd.
and you're like, hey, air train, how's it going? And then, you know, you've got somebody that's an actual flying Decepticon that maybe a tank Decepticon is getting in.
It's a hierarchy of machines.
But yeah, machines that need to get into machines just really screw me up. I don't like what they've done with Transformers in
Until
that way.
the machines that the machines use gain intelligence, and then they're going to overthrow their machine masters. I don't know that. I have no idea. You're right. It is a little ridiculous.
Cybertron looked very cool. I really did like the look of having it just in the skyline. Yeah. There was a point when they were bringing Cybertron to Earth and then stopped it. And then started it again and brought Cybertron to Earth and then stopped it. And for some reason when they stopped it the second time, Cybertron collapsed into the event horizon. But that didn't happen the first time.
I don't know.
Why? That was just dumb. Why isn't there like a slice of Cybertron hanging out up there forever? But that did bother me a lot. And seeing the Chicago skyline destroyed in a way that I've just I can't even fathom. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and so it was really cool
so you
to
must
get
have
to
been
see
like,
it so fresh.
Holy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very neat.
It was a movie full of robots and Bay-splosions and hot babes and entertaining. That's personally, that is all I was expecting from the film, and I think it fulfilled it.
You know, I got a little bit more than I was expecting, because we saw some really important Transformers die. Spoiler alert, again, Ironhide bit it. And, like, in a way that, you know, we saw Optimus die, but we didn't see him rust and fall to pieces.
Yeah.
We saw Starscream die, so we got Decepticon number 2, and we saw, basically, Autobot number 2 both bite it.
Yeah.
And then Megatron was friggin' eviscerated.
Yeah.
And Sentinel Prime was just blown to bits. Optimus Prime is a cold-blooded killer. Like, he's a stone cold G. It was incredible to see what he did. But you know what? Really, the movie is just another 2.5 hours of twisted metal, Bay-sploding on screen, just like the last two were. If you enjoyed the last two, you'll enjoy this, because in 3D, it's huge, man. It's awesome. It's big. But really, it's got no soul. It's got no heart. It's got Shia, which is the closest thing to heart and soul in the whole movie. And I really have enjoyed him in all these movies. But, yeah.
He has a pretty bad rap for being, I don't know, kind of a douchey dude. In the movie, his character is hilarious. His parents were also very amusing. It was all very entertaining.
I love the parents. But anyway, it's definitely a movie worth seeing. I'd highly recommend it. See it in 3D. It's worth all the money. I'm sorry, it made $200 million in a weekend, and it deserves it. Because it's big, it's crazy, it's wild. But is it Transformers at its heart? Not really. Not really. It goes through the motions, but not really.
Yeah, no.
But up next, we're going to be talking about a movie that definitely has all the heart and definitely knows what it's doing with an adaptation. Harry Potter, Part 7, Part 2.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be big.
There you go. There's your theme song. Yeah, you know what? It is breaking my heart thinking that this is the end. Oh my gosh.
All right, well, we'll see you guys for that review. And thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed our Transformers review. And we'll keep up as best we can from two different sides of the planet.
Today, we take the battle to them.
You can fly this thing, right? What is that? So-so?